Welcome back to Solar Power Ginger. Thanks to my buddy Dan, I was able to trade some drone footage for a free trip down the river. Hope you enjoy some of my epic adventures down the Colorado. You didn't think we weren't going to learn something, did you?
We are going to learn something today. Let's think about how that kid jumped off the cliff and was perfectly fine at the end of it. Why? I've always heard that if you jump from a high height, that hitting water is like hitting concrete. Well, what causes that? Why does one hurt and one not? Why do people always go in like a pencil and lay out flat? It may seem obvious, but let's think about exactly why that's happening. Well, when you go inside water, like underwater, you have to move the same mass of water to make room for the mass of you. So let's just say we have my excellent drawing here. Okay, let's say you're about 85 kilograms. I'm not, but you might be. So you have to move 85 kilograms of water. And since you're mostly water, the amount of water you need, it's pink, not blue. I don't have a blue pen yet. Okay, roughly the same. So that's you, and this is all water. So you need to make a U-shaped hole in the water somehow to make room for you. Well, there's a couple ways you can do that. So in order to make a hole that'll fit you, you need to move all of that water out of the way. The same volume of water about that you are. Okay, so in order to make a hole in the water that's shaped about like you are, same volume, more or less, then you have to get into the water. The way you do that matters a lot. Because thanks to old Isaac Newton, whenever you exert a force on something, in this case, water is going to exert that force right back. Newton's laws of motion. It's just what happens. Okay? So you can either put all of that energy into the water at once, or you can do it slowly over time. Doing it all at once, it's very painful. So let's say a little guy here. Okay, so let's say our little guy here belly flops right into this water. Okay, so when he hits, his entire surface area, your entire body is hitting the water all at once. Well, that's a lot of energy being put into the water at once. So yes, you're going to make a hole in the water, and you're going to do it very, very quickly. And all of that energy that you're using when you hit the water, that water is hitting back all at once. That's why when you come out from a belly flop, hurts real bad. It's also why when people do high dives into small kiddie pools, they always spread out because they don't want to go very far. You're not going to go very deep. So that's the trade-off, is you exert all that energy at once, the water hits you back, but you also don't go very deep. You might only go to here. Okay? So now let's say we go in like a diver or like a pencil like the kid did. So let's say we have our legs nice and tight, right? Arms by the side, and our little head there. Okay, so same person going into the same water. He needs to move this much water away. He needs to make that room in the water in order to go under. So if he starts and just puts his toe in, right, because he's going in like a pencil, just right there, the water is going to exert force back. Not much. That's not a lot of energy. Compared to all of this at once, that's not much. Okay, so as he slowly goes into the water, right, only a little bit at a time is entering the water. So a little bit of energy is being exerted into the water, so only a little bit of energy is being exerted back. Okay, the trade-off for that is you maintain velocity. And as you maintain velocity, you probably end up down here somewhere when you enter the water. Right? You go a whole lot deeper. However, you don't end up with a pink belly. So that's why when you jump into water from a really big height, you want to go in like a pencil, either feet first or hands first, like a diver. You're going to slowly dissipate that energy as you go into the water, and as a result, the energy is not going to be exerted on you as quickly. So as you disperse that energy, you just go through the water and it doesn't really hurt. So another way to think about the energy either hitting you all at once like a belly flop or a little bit at a time like a diver is, let's say I'm making up numbers, that 1,000 pounds of force are going to hit you when you go into the water. Okay? Whatever you do, 1,000 pounds of force is what's needed to move a hole in the water about your shape. Making up numbers, but let's go with it. So one way you can do that is you can take all 1,000 pounds of that force at once. All right? I have a 1,000-pound punch. I hit it at once, just like smacking the water all at once. Very painful. Gets it over very fast, though. But let's say each poke is 1 pound of force. Okay? So what I could do is just very quickly poke myself 1,000 times. So overall, I've received 1,000 pounds of force. However, it happened gradually all the way up my body, so I don't hurt at all, as opposed to taking 1,000 pounds all at once. So that's kind of that's the reason why hitting the water spread out all at once, exerting all that force, hurts a whole lot more than gradually going in the water like a diver.
So I had a great time floating down the Colorado River with Dan, thinking about some science. Great sights, lots of people fishing. Got some unbelievable drone footage to help pay for my trip. It's a fantastic time. After I had a chance to go down the Colorado River, I then got to go on a 14-mile all-downhill bike ride through Vails Pass. Highly recommended. Very little energy, very, very pretty. It was very excellent. Thanks again to Dan for letting me do that. Pretty epic stop on the bike ride down. Once I got done in Frisco, I moved over to 11 Mile State Park, which I think is one of the best places I've been to thus far. I was all alone. Definitely go during the week. Very few fishermen. Very, very beautiful. Very remote. It was unbelievable. It was everything I wanted boondocking to be, is the best way I could describe it. From there, I moved over to Denver, hung out for an evening while I waited for my dad to fly in, so I got to spend some quality time with him, and he got to come with me on our trip. I took him to Gray Rocks Reservoir in Wyoming. I think even better than 11 Mile State Park. Absolutely gorgeous. So we got to hang around there, do some drone footage, just really enjoy it, and then unfortunately I had some brake trouble. So some good news, some bad news. Good news, my dad flew out to come say hi. Good news, we're at Gray Rocks Reservoir north of Cheyenne, Wyoming. And we're boondocking in probably the coolest place I've been to thus far. Free, all alone, our own lake. Bad news is my Made in America USA Dexter Never Adjust brakes are broke. So we'll see if somebody comes out tomorrow. They're supposed to. We'll see what happens. After I finished paying for a $200 part with $1,200 in labor and travel, we were able to go, and we headed up towards South Dakota. Beautiful drive, didn't take any interstates, absolutely wonderful. We headed to South Dakota, and that's where I'll leave you. We'll pick up next time and see what we're doing there. Do some more science experiments. Thanks for checking out Solar Powered Ginger. Have a good one.